Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to show 3 of 9 today here on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, the president, founder, and chief listening officer here at our network. Our show today is the United Kingdom news and culture, and it's a great show. Stay with us. I am still laughing from our conversation backstage. Let's bring out our panel, the lovely DIANN FLOYD BOEHM. Welcome.
Hi, Dr. JACALYN.
Hello, hello, and welcome, Simon MacDonald.
Hey, hello. Nice to be back again.
Hello. And Mr. Ian Pelham-Turner.
Hello.
Hello, hello. And Helena Chard has the day off. So I am super excited. We are all here today. Ian, I know there's plenty of news, Simon as well. But before we get to the news, DIANN FLOYD BOEHM is celebrating something very special. Tell us about it, DIANN.
Sure, I'll be happy to. Hi, everyone. It's great to see you. So my latest book's out. I'm so proud of it. It's called A Time to Fly, and it's about a little bluebird who doesn't want to leave the nest. And in the end, thanks to its mama, sharing how everything will be okay. And you see here the nest that the bluebird takes flight. And what I love about it is that it applies to human beings too, because there's moments that we just don't want to leave the nest or try something new. But in the end we do, and we're so happy that we do. So A Time to Fly. And I just can't say enough about the illustrations there. It's very
beautiful, DIANN.
And yeah, I'm very excited. The woman who illustrated Nancy Hoover is a very famous illustrator and artist in her own right in Texas. So look at that. Isn't that just amazing?
Incredible detail work.
Yeah, I felt very honored that she had time to do this. So A Time to Fly, and you can find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and other local bookstores, and in the Amazon UK, by the way.
Fabulous, DIANN. But I still have you on Spotlight. You're also working on a number of other projects. Tell us about them.
Oh my goodness, where do I start? One thing I'm very excited about is I just sent off my first edit to the publisher. It takes a lot to do in historical fiction, and I've been working on Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More, version 2, and I'm super charged about it. So I hit the send button and sent off 2 years worth of work. So that's pretty cool. So I'm happy about that.
Congratulations. Super happy for you.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done. Let's go over to Simon on our show. I think it was last week. I had asked you if you had written anything. I asked everyone in the panel, and lo and behold, you have written something, but it hasn't been published yet. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, it took me a long time just to learn to write my name. That's life in my world. It really is. Dan, I love that book of yours. It looks absolutely stunning. It really does.
Thank you.
I must get on to Mr. Amazon tonight and get a copy winging its way to me. Absolutely wonderful. Yes, my literary endeavors, I'm not going to say literary career because it's not been long enough for that, but I've written some children's poems, and not only did I write them, but I also illustrated them as well. I used to doodle about with pens and ink and watercolors and oil colors and what have you. So just put the whole lot together and came up with this. And quite a lot of people have said, you know, get it published, get it published. Well, I thought, where do you start? You know, and everybody said, well, get a literary agent. And I thought, oh, here we go. Yeah. So I haven't sort of actually had the opportunity to get round that way yet. So if there's anybody out there who is an agent or a publisher and would like to take this on, well, give me a shout. But the book, it's called Rhyme Time. It's you know, children's poems, short and sweet, basically. Dr. JACALYN gave me a clue that she did want me to recite one of these ones. I've never stood up in my life and recited poetry, so there we are. It's a start. So it's called Rocking Horse, and again, as I say, very short, and I've illustrated it with the little dapple grey rocking horse there. And it goes, rocking horse, rock me to sleep. Please rock me gently till I slumber deep. And then in the morning, when daylight does break, sing to me softly so I may awake. So that's nice and short. So you can cope with it. And I'll give you another one there. Slightly longer one, this one. It's called The Baby is Sleeping. And there we are. We have the baby in the cot in his room and all his toys scattered around on the floor in front of them. They all do that, don't we? I still do it sometimes. So the baby is sleeping. Toys gather around. They peer at the cot. Shh, don't make a sound. Then tiptoeing quietly over the floor, they reach for the handle and they open the door. Out in the landing and on down the stairs troop teddies and dollies in colourful pairs. They play by the moon as it slips through the night, but they must be in bed before it is light. Then the owl hoots its warning. They climb back upstairs, tired dollies and toys and worn teddy bears.
Oh, that's so adorable.
I love it.
So adorable.
So there's about 16 or so in that book. So yeah, I'd love to have it published one day. It would be interesting to see it on the shelf somewhere, or Mr. Amazon is out there and wants to stock it. I would be absolutely delighted.
Well, Diane's a genius when it comes to getting books published, so hopefully you
I already have ideas. I'm going to
see
those ideas to you after the show.
My friend for life.
It's a reality coming true. I love it.
Yes.
Let's
Ian's got a shelf full of books there as well. Are there any of them that have got your name on them rather than written inside to Ian?
As we go over to our other literary genius, Ian, he's going to fill us in on, there's a lot going on with the royal family and politics.
A lot going on, but I have to say, first of all, it's a fine time to rhyme time. And it's certainly a time to fly.
Yes.
Aww, thank you.
So that is my literary ditty for this afternoon.
Very good.
Yeah, and it really is. I mean, it's an amazing time in Great Britain right now. Quite honestly, we've for the first time since 1966, and I actually remember watching the soccer match in 1966 where we became the male team became world champions. And so this Sunday, the Sunday that's just gone, the female England team have just become European champions, beating Germany. And they're known as the Lionesses. And the reason why they're known as the Lionesses is that the emblem, which is the English emblem, which is on the vest of all the players, are three lions, one underneath the other, hence the name that the Lionesses. And everybody who's got behind them since winning this, they partied. They said they'd been partying longer than they'd actually been playing football. And that they arrived at Trafalgar Square, which is our big square in London, and 7,000 people were there just to cheer them when they presented the European Cup to the crowds and to the nation at the same time. So it's been, and the Queen herself sent a congratulatory message just to say, well done. She'd been watching the match. I can't imagine that the Queen with a bobble hat, which is traditional, and a rattle, you know, and perhaps an T-shirt on, but she certainly supported them. She knew all about it. And of course, her grandson, Prince William, is chairman of the Football Association in Great Britain as well. So there were family ties all the way through. So it's not only that where we're creating sporting success. It's very rare for Britain to sort of have major sporting successes. But at the moment, we're also having the Commonwealth Games in London and in Birmingham. And we're number 2. We've won how many medals, I don't know at the moment, but we're amassing these medals behind Australia, who seem to be number 1 at the moment. So it's an incredible time for British sport. And the most beautiful part of this whole thing is that the women's team, women's soccer has been held back for years. In fact, it was only about 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that women were actually allowed to play soccer, would you believe? It was banned just after the First World War. And very few women had soccer teams. And I know in America, it's quite a big sport, and certainly in Europe as well. So it's wonderful to see women winning anything right now. And they were so pleased with what's been going on recently. And it's hopes that each one of the players will get some sort of award from the Queen for such a historic time for this to happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? And especially Simon, because it was England, and there's sometimes a rivalry between England and Scotland. What's the thoughts of the Lionesses?
I'm from Scotland. Would you really want me to answer that one? No, I think it's excellent. I think, hats off to them. They've done a tremendous job. I'm not a great follower of football myself, I must admit, or soccer as it is in the States. My father was actually a director of Glasgow Rangers at one time, so I have to probably declare an interest somewhere down the line. But they did a fabulous job, and I think, according to everyone, they played extraordinarily well football-wise, technically, and so on. And it's been a great boost for the sport all around. I think it's wonderful.
And I just wondered, in America, ladies, that is female soccer something that you're aware of? Is there leagues out there that are for just women only?
Dr. JACALYN?
I don't think I've heard of it here in the States, but I could be completely wrong. Diane?
I'm sure there are. Women love playing soccer very much. I know my young girl, my youngest one, when she was little, she loved it. But I haven't kept up with it on the professional level. But kudos to you guys. Congratulations, and congratulations for women around the world. I thought the history that you shared with us, that they couldn't participate until what, after World War I, did you say?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was banned for a long time for women actually playing soccer, probably because they were better than the men.
That happened in basketball here for a while.
But
that
Diane,
would be the English ones, I take it.
Diane, have you played soccer yourself?
Oh, no. I grew up with 5 brothers, so the last thing I cared about was sports. So I'm terrible. A guy would go ask me out, and I would say, well, do you like sports? Oh, yes. And I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
What about Ian and Simon? Have you been known to kick a ball around or two?
For me, yes, because, it's going back a long time now to... what am I, 71 now, so it goes back about 60 years where we used to play soccer at school, but in those days the ball was much heavier as well, and so it was like kicking a globe of granite more than anything at the time. And if you got hit by the ball, especially if some lout lashed out at you, with the ball. You could find yourself counting stars, looking upwards. It was one of those. It was one of those games, and even the football boots that we used to wear, they. I mean, they're nothing like today, where they're beautifully sculptured and they're light in design. These things were almost the same type of studs as you get in golf, golf shoes. So you could give yourself a permanent injury if you weren't careful, running down a touchline. So I always decided that the best form of protecting myself from all of this was to become a defender rather than someone who was midfield or who attacked, because in that way, all I had to do was stand in front of someone. I was quite bulky. I had to stand in front of someone, they would bounce off me. And in that way, it seemed to be a lot easier, a lot less strenuous as well, and I could last whatever the time was in football to my time. But it was just one of those games. But I remember vividly the 1966 Cup final, which is where we won the World Cup. And we had travelled to Scotland, believe it or not, to Aberdeenshire. And we arrived at my uncle's farm in Aberdeenshire about 15 minutes before the match started. And my father and my brother were so anxious that they hardly even said hello to my uncle and auntie. No, they rushed into the house, turned the television set on, and then watched the whole match. And people may know that in reality, extra time was played. And I think when we finally got the World Cup, the whole of Britain, well, certainly England, exploded. Scotland, I think they begrudgingly sort of reached out to us and said, well done as well. But there is this, one of the biggest rivalries in soccer in Britain is England versus Scotland. And I'm sure Simon might have a word about that.
Absolutely, indeed, as well, and so on. And we do let you win occasionally, just to be sporting about it. But no, I confess, I was brought up playing rugby instead, and as it pointed out to me on several occasions, the difference between football and rugby is that in football it's 22 men running around a field pretending to be hurt, whereas in rugby it's 30 men running around a field pretending not to be hurt. But rugby is a bit like American football, but without the armor plating. I think it's a bit rough. And yes, the studs on the boots, they hurt, and they leave quite an impression for quite a long time as well.
I was thinking rugby was like lacrosse. No.
No. I think you're maybe thinking of hurling or shinty, which is shinty is a bit like hockey, but without the rules. Basically, it's more like a blood sport than anything else. It's a really, really rough game, but very popular in the Highlands of Scotland. But we're a pretty rough lot up here. And the Irish play hurling, which is the difference between shinty and hurling, I think, basically is the stick which you use. And in shinty, it's it's much more tapered, much finer. Hasn't got a blade on it. In hurling, it's got quite a thick blade, which makes a very, very interesting impression on the side of your head.
Ouch!
So they're quite savage, these sports as well. But no, rugby was, I had my moments with that. It was enjoyable to a point, except on a freezing cold day, and the school grounds when you were playing rugby, and the grass would be frozen solid, and so would the ground beneath it. So if you were tackled and you came down on that, it stung a bit.
It left a memory, I would think.
Yeah.
Lasting memory? No, you lost your memory.
Where am I? What am I doing? We do have some comments from our friend Adam. Hello, Adam. Thanks for being with us again. Women should be in this year's World Cup instead of the men, I say, but hey, that's my view. And to follow up, my home country is Scotland, Dumfries to be exact, but England women's did really well and well deserved to them. And finally, I was devastated when Scotland didn't qualify for this year's World Cup.
Absolutely.
Dumfries is a nice part of the world. Very, very, very nice. It's just in Scotland, but it counts.
Yeah, I think it's quite true as well, because the one thing I would say, Scottish fans are tremendous. They really are. And when they come to London, for example, if we have our national soccer centre is at Wembley in London. And when they come, the place is filled with fun and laughter as well. I mean, they really come down to enjoy themselves, and they're probably amongst the best supporters in the world. They really do sort of take on board all the courtesies, whilst they're in another city, and they have tremendous fun at the same time, and you can't help but love them as well. So well done, Scotland, at the same time, and the fans. And it is a shame that they haven't made it to the World Cup. But in reality, I think it's going to be another very tough situation for the England male team, especially now that the female team have won the European Cup, which the England male team have never been managed to do at all in their lives. So it's quite an interesting time. Anyway, shall I move on? Shall I move on?
Yes, please.
So some more news, because Prince Andrew is back in the news again at the moment, because he is still trying to fight to actually get back into the royal circles again. And it's rumored at the moment that he's using his two daughters to actually try and orchestrate this at the moment as well. And but apparently, from what we are hearing, allegedly, and I always use the word allegedly, it's my form of making sure we're legally correct. The reality is that Prince Charles is saying that he should no longer be involved within the inner circle of the royal family. And this is very hard for the Queen, especially because it is always said that Andrew was her favourite son. He was certainly the one that seemed to get the most amount of publicity for all sorts of different situations. But he did fight in the Falklands War. He was very much in the fray as a helicopter pilot in the Falklands War, and they were very worried about allowing him to do that. But he was allowed to sort of go out there and insisted on going out. And and I get it, with what has happened and the history behind, the later situations that have really forced him out of the royal family at the moment, and losing virtually all his titles as well. It is, for me, as I say, I think, I would never value anything that he's done with the rumors that apparently were happening, around young ladies. But I think as well, it may be time. At the moment, it's very difficult for the royal family to come together, and I think it's very important right now, when we are facing a time of not such good times ahead. America, I understand this week, although President Biden is denying it, it's gone into two rounds of negative equity, in your finances, and so you could be going into some sort of bad situation there. And I think the whole world at the moment needs uplifting in any way we can. And so I hope it leads on to another story that I'm looking at the moment as well, with Meghan Markle, but she's not Meghan Markle, she's the Duchess of Sussex. And I think there's a lot going on. There's a new book that's been published, and it's sort of saying that Meghan really wanted to turn the royal family into a Hollywood game, is how it's been sort of said over here. For me, I think that's nonsense, absolute nonsense. Because when I saw Meghan, working official events, she was always the one. She was so like Diana in all her mannerisms, and she always made sure that if there were little children who wanted to see her, especially young girls, she would go over to them in the crowd and she would talk to them. And that was a typical Diana mannerism as well. So at the moment to sort of say that she was just going to use the royal family and then go back to America, I think is total nonsense. I really do. But you see, the reality is with a lot of these books is that you can virtually say anything, about the royal family. The royal family will very, very, very rarely ever come out and condemn anything. They have a mantra, never explain, never complain. And so, it remains sort of something where it's very easy to hit out at them. But there's another story at the moment as well, where as Simon will know, the Queen is at Balmoral now for her summer break. And allegedly, she has invited both Meghan and Harry, and obviously, hopefully, the two children as well, the great-grandchildren, to come to stay in Balmoral as well. And the rumor that's been put out, and you see, there's so many vicious rumors about Meghan, which I hate. I really do hate. The rumor that's been put out is that she's worried about Harry going back to Balmoral, that he might start yearning for his royal life back again. And that may cause all sorts of problems. And so for me, when I look at all these things, I think the reality at the moment is I want to see the royal family come back together because it's an institution that we desperately need, especially if we're going to go into recession times, to promote Britain across the world. It's very, very important. And I think, I made a statement recently on another channel to say I think the Queen walks around with this rather large walking stick at the moment. And I say she should herd with that walking stick all the royal members into a room and keep them there until they work out their differences. Because the one thing that I would say about the royal family is for them not to forget, we pay for them. We pay for them to live in the style and the customs that they truly expect to have. And at times like this, when we really need a very strong royal family as part of a great British brand, then it's very important that they come back together again. Stop all this foolishness, stop all this backbiting that is happening at the moment, because the stronger the brand, and especially with Harry and Meghan in America, it's an ideal opportunity for Britain to really sell itself to America, which is really one of the biggest and best markets that we should be aiming for. So I wonder what the others think.
Yeah, no, I think you've got a point there in many respects. I mean, Balmoral, what a place. It is just amazing. And it's very much a Highland home. It's not a palace. It's an extremely big house. And it's got the whole Scottish Highland bit about it, including the threadbare carpets as well. It's actually needing a little bit of TLC, has been for a while. And a story, my father during the war, or at the end of the war, was commander or captain of the guard at Balmoral when the King and Queen were up there. And he had the privilege of having dinner with the King and the Queen at that time. And after dinner, he went off to looking after the young princesses, Princess Elizabeth, who is now our queen, and her sister, Princess Margaret. And they played hide and seek in Balmoral. My father sort of described it quite vividly. It wasn't not so much hide and seek. I think it's a game called sardines. So if you find the other person, then you stay in beside them, and eventually until everybody is found. And it involves broom cupboards and dark places and so on. So my father had to go and hide in a broom cupboard with the young Princess Elizabeth. So there we are. I digress. But that's Balmoral. It is quite an amazing estate, wonderful place.
Ladies, what do you think about the royal family and how we should get back together? Because especially for America, as you know, I do a lot of work in America as well, and so does Helena. Between the two of us, and so I think it's very important that America, right now sees us coming back together. The whole world needs it. This seems to be such a strange time. In all sorts of ways, and I think it's very important for us to find different methods where we can come together, enjoy things, and I think the royal family, it is a terrific institution.
There's one thing about the Queen. I mean, I've always revered her. She's an extraordinary woman and just bags of energy. And even with that stake, which is a good Scottish crumach, they would call it, as a Highland walking stake, and it worries me a lot, that all this going on for Scotland, going for independence and so on. Is Scotland going to become a republic? Will we lose this royal status which we have? The Queen is an amazing figurehead. And the royal family have been for generations. All families, they have the disputes, they have the problems here and there. But there's something about having a royal family which just sets you apart from the others. It's something to look up to. It's something to revere. It's almost something to aspire to. You'll never get there. And the job of being queen, I mean, what a heck of a job. It's it's a dead-end job. There's no prospects of promotion, really. But it's think about that one. But it's it is and it's such a feature. I mean, the Queen, it's got to be probably the most famous woman in the world, next to Dr. JACALYN, of course. And I just want back on the show again. But she is, and and it just puts us, it puts a quality standard onto the country. It is an amazing selling point of the UK or the British Isles. Or the United Kingdom, whatever way you want to call it. But the royal family does have an incredible and a very important role to play in the well-being of the British Isles. And, and I fully support that. And as a marketing tool, I mean, she's worth her weight in gold, probably quite literally by now, I would think. But, the whole thing of having a royal head of state, it's so important. And it is recognized all around the world. And it does sell British product. No doubt about it. Britannia, the Royal Yacht, was used on numerous occasions going overseas on missions to sell Britain. I don't mean quite literally, but to as a trade ambassador to the United Kingdom. And it worked. And to my mind, it was money well spent because it paid returns consistently. And there's Britannia now languishing in Leith Docks in Edinburgh. In Scottish Government, our office is actually just down by Leith Docks, so we're almost looking out over the Royal Yacht Britannia. And I had the privilege and the honour of visiting Britannia just a few weeks ago when our daughter came over from Mauritius. And it's a wonderful experience, it really is. And I would suggest anybody coming to Scotland should put a visit to the Royal Yacht Britannia on their list, because it actually sort of drives it home to you, the importance of having a royal family. And Britannia, so a beautiful, beautiful ship or yacht. She hasn't got sails. I like triangular bits of cloth on my boat, but it's actually a home. When you go aboard, it's not palatial as such. It's a very, very comfortable home. That's my
I agree, because I've been on Britannia myself, and the thing that surprised me was that it was functional rather than totally opulent. I mean, the stateroom is very opulent because of obviously, there was a lot of dignitaries that would come to dine in the stateroom. But the thing that I received many years ago was that I didn't recognize at the time until I got this phone call one day, and there was this voice whispering down the phone to me. Hello, we got a dog.
Not mine.
Sorry.
That's right. Whose dog is it?
It was my daughter. Sorry.
Shh. So anyway, so this voice was whispering down the phone, and it turned out to be someone from the royal household, and I won't disclose who, because this gentleman is still alive, and he had quite interesting duties with the royal family, but on Britannia there was a photographer, and so he was obviously took all the official photographs of people like Reagan came to visit, Frank Sinatra. A lot of very, very famous people came on to Britannia during its time, and he would take photographs of them, and then he used to sell these photographs. So for 1 6pence, which is about it's about 10 it's about 20p in UK money. I don't know what that is in it's probably a dime or something. But he used to sell these photographs, and I was then presented, when I met this guy, with this amazing set of photographs of what the royals did behind the scenes on Britannia. And the one of the most amazing things of the lot was that Prince Philip had this penchant for wearing Hawaiian shirts. He loved very bright coloured Hawaiian shirts, and a lot of the time when he was on, there, he'd be wearing his Hawaiian shirts, even to some of the more illustrious occasions. And there was a wonderful photograph of Nancy Reagan playing the piano, and I think it was Sinatra singing, on board the Britannia as well. So it was the most amazing sort of thing to actually do. So you're quite right. Britannia is a fabulous craft, and it's as you say, at least it's been saved, because at one stage they were talking about just scrapping it as well. So at least it was sort of saved at the same time. Yeah. Shall I move on? Because we still have more news.
We're running out of time. Yes, please.
We're running out of time. Okay. Well, 2 more stories very quickly. Was that surprise, surprise this week that Prince Charles has again been found to be taking money from what might not be considered the best of situations, and it was disclosed this week that Prince Charles had taken £1 million from the Bin Laden family. So it was, and apparently at the time when this happened, it was just a couple of years after, apparently, 9/11, and he was asked by his courtiers not to take this money, but did so for one, obviously not for himself, I should say, but for he accepted it on behalf of one of his charities, and there's this drip feed at the moment of stories about Charles, and it's alleged that he is allowing these stories to come out now. And the reason why he's allowing these stories to come out now is that when he becomes king, which may be sooner rather than later, that there is no more stories about him that can come out that might be derogatory to him becoming king. So it's a very interesting argument at the moment. Who is leaking these stories? Because every few weeks, another story comes out about Prince Charles. A little while ago, he apparently received money in 2 shopping bags. So it's one of these things that this could be very true. There you go. And finally, as we say in Britain, Princess Charlotte, who is the daughter of William and Kate, she has become the DIANN, the famous face of Britain now, because she's been taken to quite a few events in the past couple of weeks. And the expressions on this young lady's face are absolutely incredible. And she shows emotions, either shocked or saddened or screaming or whatever it may be. And so she's become probably in some ways more popular than William and Kate right now. So every time she turns up somewhere, she's pulling these faces and is becoming, the superstar of the future. So that's my royal stories for this week.
Well done, you. Fantastic. Thank you.
So interesting.
I don't know where to start or which one. But Ian, to your point, the royal family will not confirm or deny any stories, right? They just don't get involved.
It's never explain, never complain. Is the motto, and you see the thing with the royal family is its continuity, and that's what they always go for, is continuity. And so I think we are at a time right now where a lot of people hit out at the royal family. It's very easy to, because it's very hard for them to actually sometimes explain things. And the number of times, I've worked on different channels, and they've expected me to sort of attack the royal family because somebody might not have done something correctly or whatever might happen. We never do that, and even where I feel at the moment, the only time I've ever really felt that the royal family need to sort of think about things is I started trending. I was working for another channel, and I said it was disgraceful the way that I think Harry and Meghan were treated at St. Paul's, during the recent celebrations. And for me, that's not the royal family at its best. To see part of the royal family ostracized, that's not a good scene for me at all. And I spoke out about it, and the next thing I know, I'm trending across the world with what I was saying. But I think my point is that, and I'm exactly the same as Simon. We need a very, very strong, united royal family right now to actually help us engage with business across the world. And Simon is so correct. The reality is that they are such a great brand for Britain, but united, not divided.
Ian, thank you for sharing that. I have a question for you. I did see your comments. I saw when you were speaking. What was the aftermath after that interview? Did you hear anything from your colleagues or from the royal family or from anyone about what you said?
Do you know what? I've learned now every few weeks to actually look what I've done up on social media. It's most entertaining because the aftermath was I think this started getting retweeted and restreamed right across the world. Because I truly don't see myself as some great shakes. I'm just a grain of sand in the desert when it comes to sort of any of these types of things. And I feel honored to be on TV shows like this and other channels as well. So I don't see myself as great shakes, but it certainly caught people's imaginations at the moment. I mean, it might have lost me my knighthood, that I've always begged for. I've been practicing bowing for so many years now, and even going on my knees. I've done it all in the hope of perhaps one day being recognised, but I think that might have gone now because of it. But the reality is, I think, I want to see a strong Great Britain. I want to see a united Great Britain. We are such a tremendous country altogether. I love Scotland. So although we may sort of laugh about some things, I'm half Scottish, and Scotland runs through my brain, not brains.
That too.
The word is blood.
It's what's known as a Freudian slip.
That's
Do
funny.
I have brains? I ask myself. Veins is what I meant to say.
Veins runs through blood. Okay.
But I just think it's one of those things that we do want to see a strong Britain. We want to see a strong, positive world.
Yeah, from your slip there, I can see which part is not Scottish.
Oh my goodness! Well,
But,
this has been a very.
It would be a shame to see the Queen, being deposed. I was going to say disposed. Now you've got my brain going the wrong way.
What's going on here?
It's that little miniature whiskey glass or shot glass that's just over your shoulder there, conjuring up.
You had to say it, Simon, didn't you?
See it there, everyone? Okay. We're just having fun today.
It would be a great shame to see Scotland become a republic. I've got no objection to Scotland being an independent country, but not as a republic, please. It just it cheapens the whole thing. But we need England, and England actually really needs Scotland as well. We're a pretty inventive lot. We've invented, the pneumatic tire, Dunlop. We've invented television, telephone, telewoman. I mean, the list
Did you say telewoman?
Telewoman.
Yeah. So we are a pretty inventive lot.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry that Helen is not here with us today for these laughs and all these new insights that we're sharing.
She's very apologetic about today. That there's certain things going on at the moment, and it's a really busy time for all of us right now. But we love doing the show, and so we put other things aside each to do the show. And at the moment, there's just issues that are happening with Helena, but hopefully she'll be back next week. She better be.
Well, I don't have the exact numbers, but I think from when we did Celebrate Great Britain and this show, I think we have 60 plus episodes together with you and Helena.
It's amazing, I mean I've been talking to an organization that I might be affiliated to, and it might be an opportunity for the channel as well, called the Institute of Directors, which is a very big organization in Britain, very powerful organization in Britain. And I had to I had to have this conversation with them on Tuesday, with the two leading chairmen in London, and they said, okay, go and sell yourself then, what are you going to say about yourself? And this was supposed to be a 30-minute conversation. After about 5 minutes, they stopped and they said, okay, you're in. And and as soon as they heard I'd done Helen and I together, or between us, we've done over 3,000 shows. you know, in all the major networks across the world. And I think, as I say again, I'm a great admirer of yours, of the three of you, in reality, for all different aspects. But to have created what you've created, JACALYN, is nothing short of amazing, you know, and all power to you, you know, and in reality, I think you're you know, I'm a simple person. You're all so much more intelligent than me, you know. So I'm sort of, so the only way I can sort of partly sort of show the brand of intelligence is have the books behind me and the shot glass. Well, just put it down to a bit of alcoholic desperation after a show.
There's no judgment here. It's, you know, we all have our things. Yeah.
Looking for the bar of chocolate hidden away there somewhere as well, underneath everything else.
I've had to cut out chocolate and bread at the moment.
There are times to give up too.
So is, you know, I'm starting to wonder, is life worth living? You know.
Well, I think it depends, just on my experience, as to why you've given them up. I know for me, I feel much better because I have autoimmune diseases and I feel better when I don't have them. But if it's just about weight, that can go back and forth. Like, I am obsessed with my weight, obsessed to the point where I constantly hate myself. So no matter what I eat or I don't eat, it doesn't seem to change. So clearly I have mental issues, but that's just me. So, Diann, I think it would be really fantastic. I didn't tee this up. I'm just asking you live. I'd love to have you read from your new book.
Oh, sure. You know, you didn't tee me up on that. As I get ready, I just want to thank Ian for giving us all that incredible news and also that information about Charles, which I think is so smart to get out as much as possible, because the vultures will come around no matter how hard you try. And I really appreciated everything that you shared with us today. I learned a lot. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see, what page shall we do? Oh, this page here is where the little birdie's just deciding if he really should fly or not. Let's see. Well, your feathers were starting to show, and you were eating more worms. And before we knew it, all your feathers had come in. I like my feathers, the little bird tweeted glee. Of course you do. Now your daddy and I would watch over all of you. We took turns being in the tree or on the rooftop. Now it's time to flap your wings again, the mommy bird said. I like having all my feathers, Mommy, the young bluebird tweeted as he flapped his wings a tiny bit faster.
Excellent.
So each time the mommy would share a little bit about what it was like to be a teeny tiny egg and turn into a baby bird. And with each little thing, the bird information, the bird had to flap a little bit more until finally the bird flapped so hard it was able to take flight. And it was very clever of the mama to do that, don't you think? And then here's the mommy. And then the little bluebird over there in the tree. So there's a taste.
Love the illustrations.
Thank you, Diann. And I love the master storytelling coming out as always.
Let me share one more picture. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Yeah, so
beautiful.
Yeah, really proud of it. So I'm excited. And I just really believe it will inspire everyone to flap your wings and take it a little step further, and you can do it too.
Let's all do it together. Let's flap our wings.
Oh, wait, that's not what a bluebird says. That's a chicken.
So much fun. All right, final words for today's show. I'm going to start with Ian.
Well, I hope I'm only a shadow behind. You know, with everyone else at the moment, and especially with Helena, because Helena, you know, is the doyenne of all the news. So, you know, I've missed her today as well. But I hope you've enjoyed the show. What we try to do is give you a taste of England, and our other male colleague gives you a wonderful taste of Scotland. And one of these days, I'm hoping for the smoked salmon to arrive on my doorstep.
Simon, there's a call to action for you.
Yeah, well, that's it. You see, again, if Scotland became an independent country, then sending things south of the border might have a problem with tariffs and all the rest of it. But I know England wants to keep us all part of it because it's the only place they can go without a passport now.
Simon, what would you like to share for today's show?
I'll give one more out of Rhine Time. This one's called Princess, and it actually is from the cover of Rhine Time, and it reads: "Princess, princess, will you marry me, and live in my fine castle far across the sea? There you'll be queen in my happy land afar, and wear a golden crown that glitters like a star. There everyone is joyful, and all the children sing. Please will you be my wife and wear my wedding ring?"
Oh,
That's so beautiful what you write. So let's make sure we talk after the show.
Get it published, Simon. Get it published. Thank you so much, Diane.
Let's see, what can I say? Yes, England, please keep your incredible brand. But to me, the royal family is more than a brand. They are part of the world family. We love and respect them, and everyone has ups and downs, but united and sharing and being uplifting to the rest of us in the world. How exciting can that be? So thank you, everyone, for bringing all this information to our show. We really appreciate it, Ian.
Thank you so much, Diane. And by the way, I know how I don't like the word busy, because busy can be a lot of things, but you all have schedules that are jam-packed. You've got all these projects that you're working on that have a global impact, and you take this time each week and come here and share. And I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means so much. Ian, I have no idea what it's like to get together all the information for the news, but I know it's not easy. So thank you so much for doing that. I truly appreciate it. Simon, you are a breath of fresh air, always bringing your recollections and your memories and your stories and interacting. And Diane, what can I say? You are just the heart and soul of USA Global TV and Radio. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Thank you to you all. I love you all. And one day I hope to meet you in person. That would be amazing.
So true. So true.
We'll smuggle you over the border into Scotland. Don't worry.
Yeah. You know, I was planning on coming over for November, and I don't know now, because I'm living in a state of fear, which is not good. It's not good.
Not good.
But that's a story.
It gets cold and wet then.
Yes.
It is cold and wet.
Well, it's absolutely beautiful here today in Avalon, New Jersey. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. So I want to just close out. Any updates on the Kindness Project, Ian?
We're still working on it at the moment. We're going through all the hoops that you have to go through with the local authority right now. So that is part of it. But we're also looking at creating something that we'll talk to you about as well, which is a schools channel. And so we have a company that we are working with who will introduce the Kindness Project into 600 schools across Britain. And also we're looking to create a positive news channel for these schools as well, to actually talk about how to create businesses and how to create positive lifestyles for really teenagers looking to start their first career move.
That is fascinating.
That's great.
Wow, congratulations. What a project.
I don't, as you can imagine, I don't go to sleep at night. You know, it's like yeah. I
You're
wake up
round
in
the
the
clock.
morning. I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking, you know, what have I got to do today? You know, so but it is, and you know, it's the type of thing that we really want the whole world to enjoy. You know, we need so much positiveness to this world right now.
Yes, we
That's
do.
true. We do.
Thank you. Let us know how we can help.
Absolutely.
And I do want to give a quick shout out to our colleague and friend, Philip Sykes. On Friday on the power of etiquette and manners, he did a brilliant show on the history of tea, English afternoon tea. And I would love everyone to go and watch it because I learned so much that is obviously commonplace to probably all three of you. But to me, I had no idea about the history of tea or about the finger when you're drinking or how to hold it and back and forth instead of stirring. So much to learn.
And did he teach you the difference between afternoon tea and high tea?
Yes, he did. He did. I got the answer wrong, by the way. He asked me which I had been to, and I said high tea, and he's like, "No, it's." Do you want to share what the difference is?
The difference is that afternoon tea was the original tea with the Duchess of Bedfordshire and Queen Victoria. So afternoon tea is served on a normal sized table. High tea is for the servants because they sit on a higher table when they were eating their food as well. So high tea was normally for the servants at 5 o'clock at night, and afternoon tea is normally served between 2:30 and 3 o'clock.
Thank you very much. As I mentioned, I got the answer wrong. He asked me if I had ever been to tea, and I said yes at a 5-star resort several times. And he said, "Which one?" I said, "High tea." He said, "I don't think so." I don't know that he said it like that, but anyway, it was a fascinating show.
Well, be sure to check it out.
One more very quick fact, if you can, for a second.
Yes.
The next time, test him. Ask him what changes an afternoon tea into a royal afternoon tea.
Oh.
Are you going to tell us, or I have to ask Philip?
It's Battenberg cake.
Oh, that's right. You told us that on a show once.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, that's right.
So you can test him back. You can get your own back.
Okay. That I'll do. That's a fun show. We should have you on that show as well. I know you're but you don't have any time. It's on Fridays at 3. Fridays.
It's just that he happens to be watching now. He knows the answer.
Right. Exactly.
So he'll whip that one back at you straight away.
Well, Ian, I believe that you introduced me to Philip, or was it Philip?
Yeah. No, I brought you in the first because he's another great person to have, and you know, it's etiquette, you know, is such a strange phenomena. You know, it really is. And so on another show, I will tell you about how I got involved. I was working for NBC, and I get embroiled with an argument with Harper's and Queen's, I think it was, or one of the high-end American magazines as well, over etiquette and the royal family. So we can talk about that on another day.
All right. I'm going to make note of that. I'm going to write that down. Good. Fantastic. Well, thank you again to each and every one of you. I really appreciate it. It was another informational and fun show. Simon, you have a call to action. Diane's going to help you with that. I'm going to be checking. No. Okay. Ian, will you keep Simon on point to get his book published?
I certainly will, but in return, is he going to send me the smoked salmon?
I knew that was coming. Yeah, I knew that one was coming. I could see it in my lip.
Well, I'm looking forward to reading it. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you. Diane, I'm going to see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes, for more shows. And Ian and Simon, I'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Absolutely.
And sending our love to Helena.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone. See you later.
See you again.